So earlier this week, Clash of Clans released its Builder Base 2.0 revamp update. Now, the other day, I did record a really stupid Builder Hall 10 spending spree video. I couldn't help myself, you know what I mean? And it's also really popular. Seems like a lot of other creators have already released theirs. Now, I'm supposed to be working on a new base video for you guys, neither of which video have been posted. And here's the reason why. I don't really feel it's like the best option at the moment because I really want to hear back from you guys. What's going on, my friends? My name is Joe. Welcome back to the show. And yesterday I posted a poll here on YouTube asking what you thought about the new Builder Base 2.0 update. All right, so before we get into these poll results, I have to mention that I did post a ton of content on Builder Base before this update went live. And realistically, I was actually excited for just new content in general, you know? Playing Home Village over the years is a lot of fun. It's the first thing that we all get started on. But the thing about Builder Base is that from the beginning back in 2017, it wasn't exactly the most exciting head-to-head battle. It just got old, you know? Like, it got really stressful and it got very spammy. And then when they released Builder Hall 9 back in 2019 and the option to get a 6th builder, that's realistically where we all focused our efforts in regard to Builder Base, minus clan games, of course. So according to the post, I asked, what do you think about the new Builder Base 2.0 update? Tell me how you really feel. Now, out of 18,000 votes, 37% said they love it. So that's about like 6,000 players said that they actually enjoy the content. Now, below that I said, meh, no thanks. 54% of voters said that. Almost 10,000 votes said no, they don't enjoy it. And then, of course, I had to include still waiting to try it because what I didn't anticipate is that earlier in the week, we had so many matchmaking issues to include the game dropping out, meaning the app would close out and players were completely unable to play. 9% voted that. So it's kind of expected in regard to this update and all the bugs associated with it when it first released, right? So let's go ahead and get into the comments. And the very first comment, which is the most liked comment, says, I think it's a good step in the right direction, but definitely needs some numbers tweaking on stuff like loot numbers and troops. Spring traps are suddenly very useless and upgrade times might be too long, though the increase is kind of justified until about Builder Hall 8. Now, I'm not entirely sure what level he's currently playing or what league he's actually in, but I can agree with the low amount of resources because the other day I was trying to play and I was like, man, like, what's the point in attacking when I don't really get any resources and I'm at Builder Hall 10 right now? So naturally, that loot bonus is exactly what they claimed it to be, which was the most amount of resources you could get. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they actually tweak the loot numbers or not. Now, spring traps, I have to agree because I have seen cannon carts go across the spring traps and nothing happened. Even watched hogs in our challenge video the other day. They run over top of a spring and we didn't lose a hog. So maybe there's something not right about that, or maybe they made adjustments to the spring trap that we're not entirely aware of yet. Does that make sense? Bo says, I'm expecting them to cut down upgrade costs or at least give more loot, but it seems then Builder Base won't get reduction costs like normal Village. Please bring back old Builder Base. The troops and heroes are unbalanced who would in their right mind take a 4 barb over a P.E.K.K.A. Okay. All right. So again, another viewer did mention the upgrade costs. So we're not going to address that again for sure, because we already know that the costs are very high and the amount of resources is super low and you have to attack a lot and you have to wait for that loot bonus. But what he does mention here is the troops and heroes are unbalanced, which I haven't really seen too much unbalance in regard to troops, but I do agree. What's the point in bringing barbarians over a P.E.K.K.A? Because that's honestly the way I feel about it as well. That might be something that they might need to look at, but I understand why they did it in regard to barbs and archers because it was way spammier in the prior version. But then again, he liked the prior version apparently. More loot, less time to upgrade would make it an S tier change. Okay, we got it. More loot and less time. I think this update was supposed to encourage people to stop rushing. It honestly makes me want to just get my 6 builder and leave. Okay, so this one I actually predicted in regard to how it's played, because remember, in order to get elixir, you have to have a defense. So if you're rushed, you more than likely aren't getting a lot of elixir. Now, if you are, please let me know that in the comments, because I don't really know. I did fix my bases before this update went live. However, I do understand where he comes from when it says 6 builder and leave. And I did address this in the early stages of builder base revamp. And until, and this is just my opinion, please don't take this the wrong way, until there is a link between builder base, like a reason to play it, minus the 6 builder, for the home village, like extra resources or something, I don't really find players in general valuing builder base the way the game developer wants. Does that make sense? Like, there's no link. There's no like Clan Capital. You do your raid weekend attacks, and then you get the raid medals at the end, and then you can buy resources or magic items from the trader hut. They don't have something like that for builder base. So of course, players are just going to get the 6 builder just like they did in the previous version and probably roll out, unless there's like some type of reward in regard to pushing in the trophy ranges. The new update times are a bit too long, and it's really hard to go up trophies. Okay, that is actually 100% accurate, and maybe it's just because his base isn't really that great. I should probably get that base video out. The problem is that we all were in select trophy ranges when the update went live. They didn't reset us. So we were probably up in like 5,000 range or whatever, and we were just spamming away in the previous version of Builder Base. And now things aren't really adding up because players are trying to break old habits, or they're just not used to the attacking, so they're not getting enough stars to get high trophies, and then their bases might not be defending very well because they potentially could be rushed. Honestly, I don't really know what the answer is here because I would have to see his base. Heat Plan says they split up my base and shoved half of it into a cave. How do you think I feel? All right, so, okay, let me address this real fast. If you saw our previous videos, and if you remember Builder Base 1.0, the bases themselves were just basically a big square with a bunch of defenses in the center of it, and you were just spamming in possibly the P.E.K.K.A.s and Hog Gliders or the dropship and beta minions, trying to get as much percentage as possible. Now, that got really old, and if I'm being honest, even during the Bonanza event where we had the 8 hours and 8 hours situation, I got a little burnout trying to get the resources necessary because the head-to-head battles, it was just like, who's going to have the best percentage now? Or it was just like we tied, and that got really annoying as well, you know? So what they were trying to do is make it a little bit more strategic with the new abilities of troops by splitting the base in 2 sections, making it, let's see, to where we could have different defensive layouts opposed to seeing a square base, another square base. Does that make sense? And I understand that this is so new that a lot of you are just not into it, you know, but that's what they were ideally trying to do. There was also another one here that I saw that was like really made a lot of sense. And he says, only reason people play Clash of Clans is because of its simplicity. That's why it's top rated, because it's full of casual players. Now, they made Builder Base the most complex thing in entire Clash of Clans history. Won't be surprised seeing people dump that Connor altogether and only focus on main Clash of Clans base. Okay, so it does sound like Ash is a little bit more casual, which is a lot of you guys out there. You know, a lot of you play Clash and you're not as like hardcore as I am. You don't really get so strategic about it. And I guess Builder Base did go that direction in a way. I don't know. Yeah, it's really hard to say because some players out there really do enjoy spam, and I have nothing against you for that. And then there's like a small percentage that are super hardcore into the game, you know, the ones that like play on the stage and stuff. So I'm very interested to see if they hear you guys in that aspect, or are they just going to keep it how it is? And again, if they add like something to Builder Base to link it to Home Village, it might increase popularity, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do that right now. But I do want to leave you off on one more comment that's very positive, because I don't want this video to be like super negative or anything. Tachyon says that they really like this update. In his opinion, the only problem is loot. I think we should be getting a bit more, especially in higher leagues, but everything else is cool. So there is somebody that commented something really positive, and I appreciate that because, you know, I need a little bit of positivity in my day, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it's pretty common. The loot situation seems to be a little bit too low for players. The trophy system seems to be a little bit too difficult for players. And then obviously the upgrade costs and times, I'm guessing up in Builder Hall 9 and Builder Hall 10. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments.